Here with National College Basketball writer from The Athletic, Sam Vecenie. You've spent some time with the Zags the last couple days. Your overall impression kind of getting with the team?
Yeah, I think that it's a team right now that, last year you had Nigel Williams-Goss, you had Zach Collins, you had a lot of really high-end talents. Right now I think it's more 1 through 9. The talent level's kind of even, it seems like right now. Maybe some guys like Jonathan Williams or Josh Perkins are ahead of others. But, it's going to be a deeper team this year, but it's a young team, and I think they're still trying to figure some things out.
I'll ask you about Kraziness in a second, but you got to watch a practice. Who kind of jumped out at you? What'd you pick up from getting a chance to kind of observe the team in, I guess, a more intimate setting?
Yeah, I think that Jonathan Williams and Josh Perkins stand out as leaders on this team. I think that that's a really important aspect that, I think a lot of people had questions about coming into this year just because they lose 4 of their top 5 scorers. Having 2 guys like that really can step up, as well as Silas Melson, it really helps facilitate the growth of the young players. In terms of the young guys, Rui is all over the place, both good and bad sometimes. I was impressed by Brandon Clark, the San Jose State transfer, who can't play this year, unfortunately, for Gonzaga fans. But, I think everyone brings something to the table, and I think that that's the important part of this team right now.
What about in Kraziness? You get a 15-minute scrimmage, so not a ton of time, but who kind of caught your eye there?
I think Jesse Wade came in and knocked down some shots. Again, Jonathan Williams and Josh Perkins obviously are the guys that are going to stand out in something like this, just being so experienced and having been in front of this entire arena, for 4 years now, I guess in Jonathan's case 2 years. But, I think that the leaders stood up, and I think that Jakob Larson actually looks like he's going to be able to play a role as well, which is really important given the fact that they don't really have a ton of size yet.
Do you notice any difference just in kind of the mood, the vibe around Mark Few, around the team, just given what they finally accomplished and kind of the ceiling they broke through a year ago?
I don't know. Coach Few, he's just going to be even-keeled. He's going to relax. He's going to, just always be at even, no matter what happens here. I think that there is probably something off of his shoulders now. I think that, finally getting to that Final Four, he mentioned today after the game that, it exceeded his wildest expectations of what it possibly could have been. I do think that nationally there is a little bit more of a notice happening around Mark Few and what he's actually accomplished here, which for me is just unbelievable. that he's been here for 17 years now and has accomplished everything he has. So I think that Coach Few is going to do a great job, and I think he's going to continue to do a great job with this young team.
I wanted to kind of touch on that, the national perception of Gonzaga, because being in Spokane and kind of close to the program, it's hard to really gauge what people think and where people are with that. Being a national writer, getting to travel the country, see different programs, talk to different coaches, be around different fan bases. What is the perception of Gonzaga from afar?
That's a really complicated question, I think. I think everyone now has respect for what Coach Few has built. I think prior to the Final Four run, you would always still hear those people that would question what is happening with this program. Are they good enough to compete with the big boys regularly? But, I think that was always kind of a faulty narrative, and I think that, last year went a long way towards showing that. And I think it's impossible to even come close to, doubting what, Gonzaga is doing right now.
Realistic expectations for the season. I mean, a year ago, people weren't necessarily talking Final Four because it was a question of how all the pieces fit. And this year, the question is kind of similar, just without all the experience and the big names. What do you think realistic expectations are? Can we even know at this point?
Yeah, I think it's hard to tell just because the team is so young. Like, someone asked Jonathan Williams after the game, what he, how he thinks the team is, how far along he believes they are. And he's like, I don't know, we've only had a couple of practices right now. So even the guys, I think, don't really understand. Last year, there was just so much experience. Even Nigel Williams-Goss, even if it was his first/second year in the program, he was a 22-year-old. Jordan Matthews was 23 years old. Shemek was 23 years old. There were just so many guys that you could count on and that you knew exactly what they were. I mean, I don't know what Zach Norvell is yet. He's a shot maker and he's streaky, but is he going to bring it night in, night out? Is Rui going to bring it night in, night out? Corey Kispert, Jesse Wade, Joel Ayayi, a guy that I thought was actually a little bit further along than what I expected coming out of France. So, I think it's really difficult to say what exactly we're going to see from Gonzaga this year, but from a talent perspective, they continue to bring in better and better kids, and I think that, maybe even if it's not this year, I think they can reach, a Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final Four if things broke right. But even if it's not this year, I think that they're building more and more toward, a run next year, the year after that.
Yeah, appreciate